Russia and Ukraine have agreed to swap 6,000 bodies of soldiers killed in action. According to Associated Press, the agreement emerged on Monday at the latest peace talks in Turkey, where the two sides met for just over an hour. Both sides also agreed on all-for-all exchange of seriously wounded and sick soldiers, and young soldiers under the age of 25. The talks delivered no major breakthrough in peace efforts. US-led efforts to push the two sides into accepting a ceasefire have so far failed. Ukraine accepted that step, but the Kremlin effectively rejected it. The Ukrainian delegation was led by Defence Minister Rustem Umerov, while Vladimir Medinsky, an aide to Russian President Vladimir Putin, headed the Kremlin team. Our proposal is an unconditional ceasefire in the air, sea and land, at least for 30 days. This position has remained unchanged for 3 months, and we consider it the basis for starting a peaceful resolution, Umerov said after the talks. He said that Russia handed over the so-called memorandum only during the talks, and it will take 1 week for Ukrainian delegation to review it and coordinate further steps. Umerov said Ukraine had also handed Russia an official list of children it says were forcibly deported and must be returned. If Russia is genuinely committed to the peace process, the return of at least half of the children from this list would be serving as a positive indication, he said. Expectations were low for any breakthrough on ending the 3-year-old war after a string of stunning attacks over the weekend. Kiev officials said a surprise drone attack on Sunday damaged or destroyed more than 40 warplanes at air bases deep inside Russia, including the remote Arctic, Siberian and Far East regions more than 7,000 kilometers from Ukraine.
Our proposal is an unconditional ceasefire in the air, sea and land, at least for 30 days. This position has remained unchanged for the 3 months, and we consider it the basis for starting a peaceful resolution. A few days ago, we shared our documents with Russian side, but there has been no communication from them regarding their document until today. Only during the discussion today, Russians handed over its document to our delegation. Our teams will take a week to review the documents, and then we can coordinate further steps. On release of prisoners of war, we agreed to focus on specific categories rather than numbers. We agreed to exchange all for all, seriously wounded and seriously sick prisoners of war. Second category is young soldiers who are from 18 to 25 years old, all for all. Also, we agreed to return 6,000 to 6,000 bodies of fallen soldiers. We have provided the other side with a list of several hundred Ukrainian children who were deported to Russia. This matter is a fundamental priority for us. If Russia is genuinely committed to the peace process, the return of at least half of the children from this list would be serving as a positive indication.
The president of the Ukrainian Aviation Association of Pilots and Aircraft Owners, Hennedy Kazan, is confident that Germany will deliver a sufficient number of Taurus missiles to Ukraine to destroy Russian underground targets. When we receive the German Taurus missiles, we cannot simply rename them and use them as Ukrainian missiles. In this case, international regulations apply. Ukraine is the end user, and there is a special certificate for that. Furthermore, when joint production begins, Germany will still have rights to certain components, and Ukraine will remain the end user. However, based on official statements, we have grounds to believe that these missiles will hit the targets they are intended for. Kazan explained this opinion during a broadcast on Espresso. The aviation expert clarified that the Taurus missiles were designed to destroy underground targets. It is important to explain one very crucial point. Taurus missiles have one very important advantage. They are intended for destroying underground bunkers and storage facilities, including command centers and so on. Therefore, I believe Ukraine could receive 3 to 4 times more Taurus missiles than the number of underground enemy facilities. These targets need not just to be hit but completely destroyed, he added. Earlier, media reported that the German government plans to limit information about military aid deliveries to Ukraine. At the same time, Berlin will no longer comment on plans regarding the transfer of Taurus missiles to Kiev. There are no longer any restrictions on the range of weapons delivered to Ukraine, neither by the UK, France, nor us. There are no restrictions by the US either, Mers said, recently. Thanks to a more efficient engine, Hoffman explains, Taurus can also reach deeper into Russia than other systems currently in Ukraine's arsenal, and packs more of an explosive punch than Ukraine's new crop of deep-strike missile drones. Despite a publicly advertised range of 560 or more kilometers, Hoffman believes they can reach 700 to 800 kilometers. They are, however, air-launched, so they originate from planes that would not be over the front line, where they would be vulnerable to Russian anti-aircraft fire. Taurus can be easily adapted to F-16 fighter jets, which are now deployed in Ukraine, and to Gripen, a Swedish aircraft that could be on their way soon. Taurus is the best weapon system in Western arsenals to take down bridges, said Fabian Hoffman, a doctoral research fellow at the University of Oslo specializing in missile technology. So in theory, if Ukraine wants to take down the Crimean Bridge, Taurus would be the ideal weapon system to do that. Experts believe that the Taurus is unlikely to be a game-changer in the war and that while targeting the Crimean Bridge would be a big symbolic victory for Kiev, Ukraine needs it primarily to replenish its long-range weapon stockpile. Storm Shadow, Scalp e.g., they are running out sooner or later. Taurus is another very capable cruise missile that could be used by Ukrainians to just extend the availability of its long-range strike capability, Hoffman said. This is a key advantage. It's mostly about the quantity and the number of missile systems available in Ukraine's arsenal.